Well, guys, this is going to be game 2 of Skynet versus Nephilim. I'm going to have another word with those guys because they started without me. But that's alright, folks, because we're here right now going to watch game 2 of the NA8 Semifinals. So, just to recap, you guys missed a very short match last time. Nephilim ran an unconventional triple support comp with double Destro in the middle, and it just simply didn't hold. And now what do we have? Nephilim spawning on the bottom, running double 4-3 carrier, Destro opening up 5 armor. We have 1 range BC, we have 2 range BCs, and a nice good luck, have fun between the teams. And this time a Seeker Missile Raven. You Ravens usually open up EMP, so this will be interesting. Now, from the top we have Skynet this time. We have Computer, 5 armor Destro, Ladanian Plague, Zin with a 4-3 carrier, and I really do want to see a Zin is OP text. I'll show you guys a clip of that later. We have Pod BC for anti-fighter, an EMP Raven, and Stone Cold as a Corruptor Leviathan again on the outside. And here's the initial confrontation. Now, Danian's Plague only managed to hit Bite Light. Would have been nice if they got Dusk as well, but that'll slowly wear him away. Now we get the whole team in the middle. Tura's not going to be very useful as far as his pods is concerned unless he can get close. But we could still see a little... Actually, never mind. We could actually see actually, the pods was actually a great idea. I take it back. Tura, I hope you get to use your pods, and I hope you get to see awesome usage. Bite Light pushing in the center. Dusk a little bit behind, but the BCs are going to try to kite their hearts out. Another double Plague this time on the Destro and Dusk. That's going to slowly wear him down. The Seeker... Luller's been getting off a couple Seeker missiles off on the Destro. Rookie trying to transfer, but he can't really transfer that much more. Dueling carriers in the top lane, Zin versus Wildfire. And then we've got, and the Plagues from Ladanian are starting to take their toll on Bite Light. Computer faring a little bit better on the top. We haven't seen any major launches yet, which is I'm a little surprised, but Virtuoso's working on keeping Stone Cold distracted and trying to deny him as much farm as possible. So let's take a quick look at the farm tab. No Stone. Kira, hey Kira. 500 farm for Nephilim and just under, well, around 460 for Skynet. Skynet's a little bit behind. Stone Cold's been quite effectively denied. He hasn't been able to put his corruptors down quite as much, but he's already starting to go into a little bit more energy upgrades here. Bit of a push here. Stone Cold putting his corruptors in the center this time to help hold the middle, and also pick up any farm that's here. Virtuoso getting caught a little bit off to the side, but I don't think Skynet is in any position to push him off to the side. And by the way, if anyone doesn't know, Skynet is one of Cyberdyne's teams. I don't think I mentioned that before. Wildfire versus Zin. Let's take a quick look at how those two are doing. Wildfire at just above 100 farm. Zin has been quite effectively denied at 68 farm. Wildfire, they both started off 4-3. Bit of a potting there by Tura. Now Rookie has no more shields to give. Looks like Bite Light's going back for his initial upgrades. Likewise as Computer, who went back and got 2 lasers. And Warp. So now Computer can help hold the refresh center. Nephilim's going back, no sense. Hanging around this upgraded Destro. Might as well take the cash they haven't run. The Bite Light's still going back. Will he go out? Will they try to set up a warp trick? I don't believe so. But I don't see Stone Cold. Where is Stone Cold? No, Stone Cold's up here. No. Aha, no, here's second. Sorry, I was looking for the side lane ship. I was thinking side lane ship. Stone Cold. No, wait. Stone Cold's on the other team. So we have our 2 carriers are outside. We may see a warping on them. Nope, normal push out in the center. Luller got more energy. Bite Light got bots. Dusk went for Missile Boat. It's sort of surprising to start Missile Boat considering that the other team has a Raven. Kira also going heavy Missile Boat with a little bit of armor and lasers on the side. So this means they'll be able to push quite strongly. Rookie will be forced to go PDDs if the BCs continue on being a missile boat anymore. Stone Cold now 275 energy. He's got an acid spray to help him out with the launches from Virtuoso. Virtuoso got a plague somewhere. A failed EMP by Rookie. Lullard is in. Energy is intact. Tura warped in. A little more energy and speed on Tura. Ooh, Seeker Missile went off on Computer. Bite Light is just trying to be very aggressive in the center. Wildfire coming in, donating a couple of events to the cause. Stone Cold looks like he's going to go for the... He's only gotten 2 tenths. I think he's just going to go for the acid spray counter to ints rather than going into tenths unnecessarily, because he's going to try to focus on his corruptors. Adanian coming out, more energy on him, as well as his 2 lasers. Psionic Shock. Computer heading back, and Rookie heading back. Rookie has a lot of minerals to upgrade. Teledanian getting another double plague off. Seeker Missile on Tura. This is going to be pushing the team back. Seeker Missile is actually pretty... Like, sometimes you should be tanking Seeker Missile, and you actually shouldn't be... sometimes you should actually just push past it regardless, but depending on the ship you have and how tanky you are, that could really hurt. So it's a great denying tactic to push you back. For example, nukes. Sometimes actually, if you're, say, a Leviathan late game, eat the nuke. You know, keep doing the damage as necessary. Other times, most times it's just better to run. But certain abilities like that, like Seeker or Nuke, they force the other team to run away. And looks like Computer is just going to tank that. But he has a Raven who can transfer him, so it's not so bad. Bite Light pushing up on Xin here a bit. Xin went into... He's got level 10 interceptors, no warping. And that's going to be working on harassing Bite Light, who doesn't have any lasers. That's going to be a little difficult for him. It's like BCs are doing a pretty good effort trying to work on kiting as much as possible. Virtuoso has not gone back to upgrade. He's got 1,200 minerals in the bank, so he is a bank robber, and he's got to run and get those upgrades. So I'm curious to see what he'll get. Go more fully into ints, or will he try to go for spellcaster? We shall see. I'll put my money on ints. Could be wrong. And looks like Skynet is pulling back a bit at this point. Let's see, what is Virtuoso getting? Got Warpin, so it looks like he's going to be devoting more into interceptors. We'll see shortly what that turns out. And he's spending his money like crazy, so I'm betting on interceptors, level 13 interceptors. Luller coming to help pick up the farm at the top end. Now, are we going to see a attempted warp tricks, quick launch, and warp in by Virtuoso, double acid sprays. Stone Cold's very happy. He has his acid spray now. Now he has his one-shot tense and a little bit of armor along with the 400 energy. So he'll be able to handle Virtuoso quite handily. Looks like Nephilim is pulling back slightly. This is playing much more standard than last game. Bit of a warp in here, but just a warp in to push, not to catch anyone. They're warping in on Stone Cold. Rookie's now gotten his defensive matrix. Danian's still going for more speed, energy stuff. I'm not an Overlord player, so I can't help so much. But I know it's Deathstroke. Computer's going for the higher DPS. Got his one shot and 6 armor, and he even got a little shield upgrade there. Wildfire dancing around with his 18 ints. I missed that upgrade. Whoop, stop. Wildfire stopped a little bit, but it looks like he's going to be okay, even though Computer's pushing on him a little bit. Lullard's got some money. He can go back and upgrade. ACMP. So Tura's come back with scan, so Skynet doesn't have to worry so much about a warp trick with Tura there, and he's got only 250 energy. Tura's been farmed. Actually, let's check out the farm, folks. Just about 1,400, almost 1,500 farm for Nephilim, and almost the dead same for Skynet. So Skynet is a little bit behind because they did get a chance to get closer to the prison. Skynet did get a little behind because they did get a bit closer to the prisons, but they're still dead even on farm for the most part. Let's see what they came out with. So Dusk Now 10 range, 1.6, 2 lasers. Kira's now gotten even more heavily into missiles. That's really going to hurt. Wildfire coming in now with Warpin. And Lulder coming in now with EMP. Before he was just Seeker Missile, EMP, and 325 energy. That D-Matrix by Rookie is certainly going to come handy, though Skynet has a decision, are they going to go for PDDs to cancel out the missiles from the BCs. The launcher on Ladanian. And Bite Light being given priority on the outside, that means we could be seeing, oh, you got Protective Field, could be seeing a... Nope, looks like Virtuoso's taking the top again. I was going to say, do Destros go on the outside usually means one or a couple of things. One, they're farm starved and they need more farm. Two, they want to get lasers for siege. Or three, they want to go for mines, which requires a heavy investment in energy. The Interceptors now really starting to take their toll. Wondering when these two carriers are going to come together and launch as one, because that will be very hard for Skynet to work with. They do have pods, they do have acid spray, but still, regardless, Interceptors scale very well, and they do a heck of a lot of damage in addition to farm denying. Stone Cold's Corruptor's level 2, also trying to help out. The Damien getting pounded here, going down to the deep orange, maybe even to the red, but I think he should be able to make it back alright. Rookie getting pounded by the 4 and 8 missile. Wow, just look at that. Rookie was in yellow and suddenly he's now back down in the orange. Fortunately, Ravens can't D-Matrix themselves. Tur trying to do his best, but he doesn't have any damage worth speaking of, so he's just soaking up a bunch of damage unnecessarily. Computer now at 11 lasers to help with launches, and also we may be seeing siege from him later. 15 ints on Zin, no warpin, but higher int count. Stone Cold now going armor 10, and he's now got his rapid regen 2 armor 9 10, only 9 range bile, but that's not a big deal. Launch on Wildfire, that's gonna hurt. He's counter launching, trying to help himself out. Should be all right, and look, counter launch from Kira also gonna assist. That's one thing you can do. Don't forget you have fighters on board your ship. They can do a couple of things for you. One, if you're a carrier, they can do direct damage. Two, a bunch of launches together can really help farm deny. And 3, they're great for counter launches. And I think actually there's a fourth. Fourth, they're great for catching farm that's farther away from you. Depending on the level of your OBFs, your onboard fighters, it can help a lot in just assisting with your farm. Carriers do it all the time. So Skynet's pushed Nephilim back to the towers a bit. Let's check out the farm. 1907 farm for Nephilim and 1900 farm for Skynet. So Skynet's falling behind a little bit. They don't even get much of a chance to farm at the prisms before Nephilim comes back out. Interesting to see the double BC though from Nephilim. I mentioned this in a previous cast yesterday. Double BC is seeing a lot less play than it did half a year ago around World Star Battle Tournament, EU5, etc. Because of the latest nerfs and the fact they don't scale well to the late game. They just don't scale. Their weapons don't scale well and their abilities don't scale well. Their lockdown used to be considered almost a standard. You needed a BC, and they were very useful mid-game. That was sort of the BC's prime sweet spot for missiles and so on. But we're not going to see that this time. Because looks like neither of these... Well, Tusk may get it eventually, but he has D-Matrix. We may not see lockdown him, because right now lockdown costs more energy than it denies, as it got nerfed. So Zedu, if you're watching this, can you please fix the BC? I used to be primarily BC player, and then I sort of switched away, because it wasn't as good anymore. Big cloud of farm coming from those past launches. Now, Skynet's now back at their prisms. Ladanian's a bit vulnerable to a launch here, but looks like it's going to go towards Stone Cold. Plague there, we can really help deny the Interceptors computer warping in on the side. 15 lasers, which will really help clean up those Interceptors. Rookie having a hard time of it. He needs to get more lasers to just help clean those up. And as I said, as I thought before, you've got PDD to help deny level 9 and still level 4, but level 9 missiles on Kira. Virtuoso now at level 20 ints. Zin now at 17. And where is our other carrier? Wildfire now at level 20 is double 20 ints. That's a serious threat. Interesting that they keep that Nephilim has them still on the outsides. They seem to be handling their side lanes quite well, and it lets each carrier get more and more farm. But eventually when the carriers come together and start launching the same targets, that could spell doom for whatever ship they choose to snipe. Ladanian would be a good target, and Rookie would be a good target, because neither of them have any armor. Though it looks like Tura's actually getting hurt. He actually doesn't have any armor, only level 4 lasers. So, but he does have pods, so he could defend himself. And now the PDDs are coming in, and that's going to really start helping out. Pods excellent. Pods are excellent counter for PDDs. So you can see Kira just clean them up right there, and we'll probably do so again in a second. D-Matrix popping up on computer for the push. Virtuoso just trying to clear off Zinzins, but Virtuoso has higher level in, so he'll eventually be able to clear them, but not without sustaining quite some damage. Pods coming in to get pods from Dusk to help out. So now this will be interesting. Stone Cold getting harassed by the interceptors and by Farm, so why he doesn't mind at all. It's num num num. Not using the Corruptors as much lately. Probably putting him more towards Acid Spray and Rapid Regen. Danian just trying to get off every single plague he can. He came out with Contaminate, which will be useful later if they're going to try to run someone down, because it'll slow their attack speed and also causes them quite some damage. And also slows them down, so it means if you stop, you're screwed, because speeding up is impossible. We're getting a recall back by Nephilim, because they sense the Stone Cold's probably coming around the outside for a warp trick, but Nephilim is safely far back enough. This is just going to be a warp trick to help push and just gain farm. Zin coming out now. Zin is level 20 interceptors. Rookie, 450 energy. Stone Cold, level 15 tentacles, which is definitely going to help clean up launches. Tura, more energy on him, 1.7 speed. Computer already did his upgrades. And the Ladanian, more ints. More ints. And Ladanian coming out with 375 energy, 1.7. More ints. And does he get the order? No, he says do not get, he was given the order, do not get more ints, get Vortex. Double Vortex on the carriers for Nephilim. So it looks like they think they're in a position now quite to catch somebody. And it's true, their interceptors have been doing a great job of harassing and causing a lot of damage. Dusk coming now with Lockdown, probably trying to lock down Rookie to prevent him from EMPing the carriers. Kira's now level 14 missiles, going to cause a lot of damage. Bite Light got his protective field, more energy, so he can be an energy tank. Lullard, more energy, speed. Both carriers are level 20 or 21 ints. Pod's clearing out the PDDs. Nephilim's going to try to, maybe they're going to try to look for an opportunity to Tex, or they're just going to just push back naturally. We're going to see another pod here by Dusk. Nope, trying to pod but just missed that interceptor launch. Now it's skipping over to Kira, because Kira does not have a protective field. Nice EMP by Lullard on Ladanian. And Ladanian's only 375, so he's going to have to wait a little bit before he can plague again. Secret Missile off on computer. And Zin going back 250 minerals. He's going to go back for some more upgrades. Looks like Skynet's going to retreat for upgrades. Maybe they're going to try to set up a warp trick with Stone Cold. Corruptor's still level 2. And now he's at level 15 tentacles. Wildfire hurting a lot from those plagues from Ladanian on the outside. Warp in by Zin on Stone Cold, and looks like the rest of the team is going to warp in. Now we see some missiles on Tura, in addition to his 30-minute lasers, 2-shot lasers. And level 17 lasers now on computer, the Destro. Now, Nephilim doesn't have to worry so much. As long as the carriers stay apart, a single EMP is not going to catch both of them. But it looks like they're not going to be using their techs just yet, or perhaps they will try to catch someone. It'll be interesting to see when they decide to play their investment of 800 minerals into a double Vortex. Nice pods. Just going to get rid of that PDD. Looks like we'll see another one. Tex on Stone Cold. Wildfire got off a Tex. Now note, Virtuoso has a Tex as well, so if things turn sour for this push, he will be able to Vortex also. Now, this is when Skynet is doing the proper thing. They're trying to push the team back as far as possible, and looks like they were able to succeed in doing so. Though they'll still try to damage Stone Cold. And then another Tex. This time, oh, they caught their own Destro, but that's alright. And the Seeker Missile went off there. So now this time, Dusk really was getting hurt by the launches, etc. He'll have to go back. Looks like Nephilim's not in a place to capitalize on this. And yeah, as we can see, Bite Light's going back. Going to live to see another day, trying to defend their BCs. Ooh, and a little bit of a turn by Kira. Kira putting herself in the line. Oh, himself, sorry. The name seems feminine. In the line of the Gats from Computer. So when a Vortex goes down, as the defending team, you have to say one or two things. Was this a defensive Tex? Meaning, were we just pushing, the other team felt pressure, they Tex to save someone? Well, in that case, you're probably have the upper hand anyways. If it's an offensive Tex by the other team and they caught one of your players, your job is to push everybody back as far back as possible, so your teammate has a chance to get momentum and get out of there as fast as possible. Or alternatively, push them back so you can just counter push. And Nephilim wasn't able to keep Computer from diving in and Tura from diving in, so they weren't able to capitalize on that. But we'll be able to see a Vortex again in 40 seconds from Wildfire, and another 60 from Zin, another 60 from Virtuoso. Let's check out the farm tab. Just above 3,000 farm for Nephilim, and 2,826 farm for Skynet. So as I've been saying, Skynet's been falling a little bit behind on farm consistently. And they were just farming at the prisms, and now they're being pushed back. So they definitely do not have the farm advantage, though. It's been relatively stable. They have a push on Tura here. Kira donating the 14 missiles to the cause, just melting Computer shields. And Bite Light is just doing a good job tanking. Got a couple of Gats. Virtuoso. I don't think he got any upgrades last time. Actually, maybe going Warpin. Wildfire, now we have double Warpin. We didn't have double Warpin before at Nephilim. Zin is going back. He's got a couple minerals to invest. Look, we may be seeing a Tex from him. I'm just watching the upgrades. And do we see a Tex from Zin? I do not know. No, we do not. No Text from Zin as of yet. But considering you have two BCs who could go lockdown and a Raven, that would be very hard to get off. So instead, he was going for Interceptor number. And Wildfire got a Tex off on Stone Cold again, but the Interceptors are just hurting Wildfire. He may actually not be able to make it back. And Wildfire was killed by Zin's Interceptors. So Wildfire got one last Tex off, and that didn't even accomplish anything. And Stone Cold was able to get away. So, case of unfortunate, the plagues accumulated on Wildfire from Ladanian, and meant while he had full shields, he didn't have as much hull. So once the shields are gone, they're in a bad position. And that's really going to hurt because you lose the double launch. And now, as I was saying, BC's later game, not able to contribute as much. I don't know if I've seen many or any lockdowns yet from Dusk. Just maybe not able to get in close enough to do so. Both these BCs should have Biosteel to help with the regen. Hard to tell at this moment because one of them's still taking plague damage. And a big push by Skynet into the Nephilim prisms. Now let's check out the farm. Now it scores 5-6, 2,600 farm for Nephilim, and 3,100 farm for Skynet, which taking out Wildfire, which was the second highest farmed ship on the team, really hurt Nephilim. And now we're gonna see what happens. Now we do have a Tex, which may be used more defensively. Virtuoso coming up the side. Virtuoso, is he able to get a Tex off on? He wasn't able to get a Tex off on Stone Cold. That would have been epic. Just a bad case of timing. Siphon now on Virtuoso. So now we have another 3 minutes and Skynet could breathe a sigh of relief. Wasn't able to catch Stone Cold there. That would have been rather epic. His team had already started to pull back. He would have been in a vulnerable position. Probably breathing a sigh of relief. Now he's gone frenzy with his level. He's starting to go invest into bile now. But even if he can get on top of someone with level 15 tentacles, that's really gonna hurt. Zen saying, I'm upping as well. He's got 600. Probably gonna get techs, I would imagine. Or maybe not. Could prove me wrong. But this is definitely a different semifinals game. Now we're actually seeing a bit more back and forth between the two teams. Siphon on Bite Light. Gonna basically prevent him from using bots or protective field. Warping, Virtuoso warped in, now going for more interceptors and feedback. Zen, no, going for more interceptors. Okay, just going for the pure damage. Nothing wrong with that. I was expecting techs, but that's fine. Computers now at level 20. Lasers, wondering if he'll get siege counter. Perhaps not. Level 11 armor, more Bite Light's a bit more tanky. Now a bit more the traditional tanky aside from the energy protective field. And Cure able to dish some damage out into Stone Cold. But one single BC can only do so much. Nice pause. Turo sort of had to pod himself a bit there. Let's check out the farm. Nephilim getting pushed back a bit more. 2,800 farm for Nephilim, 3,500 farm for Skynet. Skynet's able to now extend the lead a bit. Now it's a 700 farm lead. So, contaminate on Bite Light. Here, Virtuoso going around the top side, going to try to set up a warp trick point. Turo's scanning, so he knows what's going on. The team can just pull back and knowing very, very well where the Nephilim team is. But is Virtuoso going to try to catch someone in a text? That is the question. And looks like he is. Caught Stone Cold again. Would have been nicer to see the supports caught because they're a little more squishy. Stone Cold's at full health. So, feedback on Ladanian. Don't have to worry about plagues. EMP on Dusk, who got nuke, so we won't be able to see a nuke. Do we have a second nuke? No, we do not. So this is just going to be a standard push. Now, are they able to focus their DPS? Looks like it's a little bit split on what target to go for. Stone Cold is the target. Stone Cold's now frenzying on Dusk. Bite Light making a turn out to the outside, trying to catch Computer, but now has put himself in the line of Tura. And are they going to try to push for team there? Kira's down. Help now. Lullard's able to transfer. Lullard's not transferring right now, but it should be. Nope, D-Matrix instead. That's perfectly acceptable difference. And again, another failed attempt to try to catch Stone Cold. I know that Nephilim's worried about Stone Cold because when the Leviathans get up to this, they get up to how much farm does he have? Oh, someone show me the farm score. When they get up to almost 1,000 farm, Leviathans are almost unstoppable. And especially, well, Stone Cold already has Corrupt because he's 450 energy. Now he's just diversifying into more DPS. Dusk heading out just maybe because he's just farm starved and he needs something. But at this point, the BCs, you're going to see that the BCs are just constantly under attack. They're constantly at risk of being sniped. Dusk should pull back a little bit, let his shields recharge. Bite Light coming out around on the outside. I don't know if we're going to see Warp Trick. Nope, just coming around the outside just to farm, catching this farm wave. Ooh, Dusk is really should worry about a sniping launch from Zen. The wrong time and the wrong push, he could very easily get killed. Same with Kira. The BC should go back and get some shields or pop their defensive shield, which I'm sure Kira will do in a second. Bite Light is warping in to help out. Warping in on the tower, perhaps. D-Matrix, timely D-Matrix. Now a Tex and text their Destro and the other Destro, but right at the prism. So the BCs just need a little bit more time to farm. Dusk is going to just try to go in regardless, hoping for that energy to regen. Should get into position now, but is also concerned of nuking their own Destro. And I think, nope, EMP on Dusk, no nukes today. Lullard got taken down by Zin's interceptors. Level 23 interceptors simply hurt, and now they're still doing more harassment. Wildfire's left the game. No GG yet. There's a GG, but I don't think Dusk is the captain, but GG, an excellent try. So Skynet wins. So Skynet wins the semifinals. Look, thanks you good. Thanks you good. Well played. Well playeds all around. So this was the semifinals. Skynet, i.e. Cyberdyne Systems, versus Nephilim. Nephilim played a very risky triple support comp at the beginning and unfortunately got rolled over very quickly in the first 10 minutes. This game was more traditional, went on a while, but just wasn't luck for Nephilim, and we don't see a game 3. Excellent play overall from both. Excellent play overall, and these teams sure had a good run yesterday and today. So I don't know who's going to be they're going to be going against next game. I will let you know. Odds are could be Final Eclipsis, considering their standings in the bracket, but we do not know that yet. So stay tuned, folks, for the grand finals. I don't know if I'll be casting, but check the tournament ticker and you can find out a little more. And I may have a bit of a bonus for you guys in between games, so stay tuned to the channel. And I will catch you all later.